is Casey with Therapy Training Collective. Welcome to this short video to address how to best use our clinical supervision hours tracker. This is an Excel document that was created based off of the state requirements for many of our clinical supervision plans for social workers, but you may find that this is helpful for the tracking of clinical supervision and clinical process hours for other disciplines as well. If you have not yet accessed this Excel sheet, you can download it for free at therapytrainingcollective.com. You can access it through the free tools section that is linked right on our home page. But once you get this Excel document downloaded to your computer, you'll be able to open it and find three tabs right here across the bottom. The first one is our information tab, the second is our inputs tab, and then the third is the actual log. So on this first information tab, you'll find some brief instructions on how the Excel document is created and how you can input your different numbers to meet your state requirements. There's also a block here for you to add your information that may be specific to your state. So I am a clinical social worker supervisor here in the state of Texas, so I went ahead and entered some quick reference points for our Texas requirements for clinical supervision plans. You can see that we need at least 24 months, 100 supervision hours, and at least 3,000 total worked hours. So you can input some of those requirements there for quick reference so that you're not having to go back and forth to your board page for some of those details that may be something that you can't remember all the time. The next thing that you can do here is go to our inputs page, and that's where you can actually input the requirements for hours for your state. So again, here in Texas, I'm going to go ahead and enter 3,000 hours in the total hours that are required for me. I know some states have higher requirements there, so you enter the number that is required for the state that you are practicing in, the number of supervision hours specifically that you need, and then your start and end date. So for this plan, we're going to say that we started on 11/10 of 2023, and 24 months after that would be 2025, again, setting up those dates based off of what your requirements are. Then we get into the actual log page of logging our clinical and supervision hours. So just to make things a little bit easier here, I've inputted a little bit of data for us. As you can see, each day that you are working or recording clinical hours has a space that you can enter your hours, the date, your supervisor, the location of your practice, then any activities or topics that were discussed, and then over here in the final column, you're labeling the type of activity. So on this first line, you can see that we're going to say on the 10th, I recorded 5 hours. My supervisor was Jane Smith at the time, and I worked at Therapy Clinic A doing paperwork and client sessions. And so that would be considered, a clinical hour, because I'm just doing my social work practice work, my clinical hours, and I'm going to label that there. You can see as soon as I label 5 hours of clinical practice here, my hours remaining at the top automatically subtracts 5 hours. So it's helping me count down to how many hours I have remaining to finish out my supervision plan. We'll go ahead and code a few more of these. Let's say on the 11th, I did an advanced training while working at the Therapy Clinic A. That's also going to be clinical hours. Then I had my first supervision session on the 12th with Jane Smith. This is great if you are tracking different locations and doing supervision with different individuals, or if you change supervisors throughout the course of your practice, you're able to change the supervisors and whatnot there. But during my clinical supervision hour with Jane, let's say I discussed ethical documentation and review of reporting laws. And then under here, I'm just going to click supervisor, and you'll see it, or supervision, you will see that it automatically said that I completed a supervision hour, and now I only have 99 remaining. The supervision hours are also getting counted into this total clinical hours remaining as well. So you are getting credit for those in your total hours towards your 3,000 hours there too. The other thing that I will make note of is that you are able to change this location. And so, if you are an individual who has worked multiple jobs throughout your clinical supervision plan, or maybe you're doing some kind of combined setup where you are either doing PRN at a hospital while working a more case management job, or kind of piecing together your clinical experience, you're able to change the locations here for as many locations as you need. Here I made up a working hour of 8 hours at a hospital that I worked PRN for, doing assessment and discharge planning, and I can label that as clinical as well. So you're able to track through the entire process of your clinical supervision plan. You're able to change locations, different activities and topics that you might be doing, as well as recording what those topics are that you're addressing in your actual clinical supervision hours. So we hope that this is helpful for you to stay on top of your journey towards clinical licensing. This, along with other tools, are a part of what we put together to help therapists thrive and move towards their goals in this mental health field.